Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Robert Schmid, also known as Mr. IoT. I'm the Chief IoT Technologist for Deloitte with a deep passion for all things digital. This is a special week on Coffee with Mr. IoT because not only do I have a new co-host with Kelsey Carvell. Welcome, Kelsey.
Thank you.
Also have four of our India team with us. Because guess what? I'm going to India on Saturday. I'll be there Monday through Thursday. And this is sort of like Kelsey and Robert going to India. So in that spirit, I just thought, let's do a quick round of intros. Kelsey, welcome to the show. You're going to do this with me now every week, right?
Yes, I am really looking forward to it. Really love the show. Excited to be on it. I'm Kelsey, everyone, and also part of Deloitte, part of our Digital Supply Networks practice. And I'm looking forward to going to India with you today, Robert.
I heard you decided to have a nickname too, and we decided Mrs. IoT wasn't quite right. So what did you pick?
So yeah, I mean, just to be, politically correct, I didn't know if Mr. and Mrs. IoT would quite go. So what I thought was I would be Misconnected Enterprise. So that'll be my nickname here on the show.
Welcome, Misconnected Enterprise. I'm gonna just go call you by your first name, Misconnected, but thank you for taking one. Shrikant, go ahead. You are actually not in Bangalore, but go ahead. Let's do a quick round of intros.
Hey everybody, I am Shrikant Shroff, part of Deloitte digital team in India, and part of the IoT team as well. I work here as the architect. I am very, very passionate about IoT, and IoT is all what I do. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
It's good to have you. Parag, let's go in the room from, I guess the way we see you from right to left, so that's Parag all the way going on.
Yeah. Thank you, Robert. So this is Parag. I'm working out of Bangalore location, working as a manager in IoT. And my co-workers, team members, they call me to be Star. Yes.
Hi, this is Tushar. So I'm working as an IoT developer, and I have 4.5 years of experience in front-end technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. We have AngularJS, Node.js, React, and also I've been working lately with AWS and
So Tushar, you were a little hard to hear, but welcome to the show. And just for the next round, maybe you get closer or speak up, whatever works better for you. Welcome.
Thank you.
So I'm Ethan. I'm an IoT developer. I have worked on Finger's IoT platform and AWS IoT platform, and I have done some machine learning with Python, and I'm very much interested in next generation technologies and technologies that India.
Well, guys, I have to say it's great to be on the show with you. I'm looking forward to being out in India with you next week because there really isn't any project that we don't work together. Pretty much all of our projects include one of you or some of you and some of your colleagues. Yeah. I tell people a little bit, what does it mean to be on a project and work out of India? Shrikant, why don't you go first? What does it mean to you?
So I think it's been wonderful because one, you're actually building out something. You know, when you're so passionate about IoT and you see things coming into shape, you work. I think every day is a new day. You have so many challenges technology-wise. When you go back, you sometimes figure out, work hard, learn new stuff. I think I've been in IoT more than 8 years. Every day I've been learning so many new stuff, and I think we've been fortunate that some of our colleagues in US, they are amazingly good because the requirements that we get are very crisp. So I would say it's been fun along with challenge, and it looks like one big family. So half of it in US, half of it in India, collaborating, working together, having a good time. I think it's fun, learning everything.
That's great. So just a question too, do you ever take some of what you do in your work life and apply it at all to your personal life. So you talk about being so passionate in IoT. Do you have any examples of where you've gotten experimental and really taken your passion home?
I think it happens every day. I look at a washing machine in my home and I think, hey, why shouldn't I automate it? Like I can IoTize it. I look at my TV and I'm like, oh, this is the next thing that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna IoTize my TV. And then you keep thinking, how else can I be better? I look at my bed and like, hey, can I IoTize this? How would it bring more fun if I can IoTize it? I think it happens all the time. My wife keeps scolding me all the time. We are out for a dinner, and all I'm thinking is, how can I bring an IoT here? How can I do this? And that's all I talk with my wife. So I think it's all merged, but she's learned to live with it.
It's funny, you talked about the washing machine. I was just at one of our electronics stores here, looking at a variety of different equipment. And I looked at washing machines and said, do you have IoT-enabled ones? And all they had was this really sort of wanky machine that tells me I can turn it on remotely or something. It wasn't really that great. I really wanted something that helps me with sorting and all kind of different things. And then I saw the fridge and I almost gave up on it. And gosh, they have some awesome fridges now where it actually has a camera. It looks inside. It tells you what's inside. Gosh, I really need that. That's really the appliance that I want that's IoT enabled. Parag, I have a question for you. You guys have done a lot of different Internet of Things prototypes. You not only work with us on projects, and we talk about projects here all the time, but you actually, one of the things I love working with you guys in India is that, I mean, even if I wanted to, I can't stop you from coming up with new ideas from the IoT-enabled, you had a cloud, you had a variety of things. Tell us about one of your favorite examples, what you guys did in your spare time to contribute to learning.
Yeah, sure, Robert. So in our spare time, this entire team that you are seeing on the screen, and there are a couple of folks who couldn't join today. So we all keep thinking about how can we automate things, how can we connect different devices, how can we get more data from different sensors or different places, and how can we provide meaning. So I'll talk a little bit about the hacks that we have done. So we have started with using Raspberry Pi, creating cloud, which is a thing that you can hang and it's connected to internet via Twitter. So anyone can tweet, and that cloud will read that tweet out for you with a thunder sound and lightning effect. And in India, in traditional way, we have a story where God will speak from sky to clouds, and we call it Akashwani. So we named this innovation as Akashwani, and this was our first start when we actually started IoT here in India.
That's really interesting. So what are some of the applications that you're using with the Akashwani?
Yeah, so Akashwani, it was mainly, to grab attention of people. But apart from that, we have also done, many other innovations. We have around 12 to 13 working prototypes, but I'll talk about a couple of them here. So another one we did, it was, over the weekend, we built a hologram, right? 2.5 years. You can see it working here in background. So there is a glass projection, and you can control that hologram using your mobile phone. This is for a retail store. Imagine in a retail store, a customer walks in, and hologram identifies their presence. It starts talking to them, and once user connects to hologram, they can see all different products. They can, simply rotate mobile phone to see 360-degree view. There's a AR box with that, so you just put your mobile phone in AR box, and you can see 360-degree interior view of any product, right? That was one. Second one we did using machine learning connected devices, right? So we used camera. If people walks by, it will recognize the gender and their expression, their mood, and it will generate entire analytics. You can attach that camera on top of this kiosk, and you can know how people are reacting to individual products.
That's amazing. Tushar, So first of all, if you're just joining us now, I'm Robert Schmid, the Chief IT Technologist for Deloitte. With me, Kelsey Carvell, Misconnected Enterprises, my new co-host, and we're talking to our friends in India. We call them lovingly the USI group. And Tushar, I'm curious, there's so much conversation about machine learning. What do you do with this? When is it appropriate to do machine learning? When do you need machine learning? What are you guys learning with this, and how is that going for you guys?
So basically, what I think.
Come close a little bit. It's hard to hear you. Sorry.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you.
So what I was saying is, what I think that machine learning has become a really important part of each and everyone's life nowadays. So basically, the three technologies which are emerging right now is machine learning, IoT, and AR/VR, which in future will collaborate and will actually rule the world. So one of the we also did a project which was a proof of concept. So that involved machine learning a lot. So basically, what that product was that most of the fashion industry and the travel industry is influenced by the actual videos or actual movies that we watch, right? So, but while watching a movie or a video, you don't know what all products are there or what location they're shooting in. So we actually made a mobile app in which you can switch on your camera and just scan that movie scene, and it will actually tell you that what all clothes the actual actress or actresses are wearing and where the movie is being shot, so that you can actually plan that out with your family to go over to that place and also buy that stuff for your own family and for your own good. So that involved a lot of image recognition and object recognition. So we used some of the technologies which Google has provided, and it turned out to be pretty well. So this is just one minor example of machine learning, how it can influence our daily lives. So yeah, that's what I think of it. I mean, it's really powerful.
I love that example of being able to identify what someone else is wearing and then being able to go and understand where that good is. How does that connect kind of across companies within their supply chain? Would they be connected to the technology as well, and would they be able to either predict, like for example, we know one of the movie stars is going to be in a certain area. Can we predict that goods are going to be in demand in that area and basically stock up? Have we thought about taking the application to that level?
Yeah, I mean, once we have the data, so the prediction can actually accumulate all the data and start predicting it in future, but it can take like a couple of months to actually gather that data and start predicting. But yeah, that's definitely possible.
Very cool.
Kelsey, I actually have a question for you before we go to Nick. Machine learning, artificial intelligence, there's so much talk about it right now in the news. How do you feel about this? Is this something, so for me, I'm excited about the idea that there is some predictions and somebody helps me look forward and at least give me suggestions. They just talked at Google I/O about you start typing a sentence in Gmail and it helps you compose the rest and those kind of things. I find that awesome. How do you feel about it? Do you have apprehension about it? Are you excited about it? What's your thought?
So I think two thoughts that are different about it. So one thought is when you look at all of the data that's out there and the human bias that's out there, I think it's really the only path forward to getting us to some of the answers and insights that we need. But on the other hand, I want to make sure that as we develop the machine learning algorithms, as we do that, we have enough diversity actually in the folks that develop them, so those themselves aren't becoming biased. That's my concern, is that we don't do that. For example, there's been some studies of machine learning algorithms that are predicting different cancer cells. And what's coming out about them is that they're able to predict with higher accuracy in white males compared to females and people of color. And so I just want to make sure that as we progress all of our skills in thinking in machine learning, we have enough people in the room with diverse backgrounds that can influence these algorithms.
So in a way, machine learning, because of some of the diversity problems, it actually predicts better for majorities than for minorities, and so the minorities get even further pushed into the sidelines because of that. That's fascinating. I hadn't really thought of this.
That's what I'm worried about, right? I'm worried that we're going to have more of a disparity in societal gap based on it.
Let me ask this in general to all four of you, and Nick will have a specific question for you in a little bit. But we hear a lot about, Elon Musk talks about the problems of AI and the scary things. There was some talk from Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, right? So there's a lot of conversation. There was just in the White House conversation about AI, I think yesterday. So it's really in the front of the news, and people talk about the scare of AI and that there's a dark side to that. What's the feeling and what's the sentiment about this in India, and how do you experience it?
So, so I think to me, I'm personally very excited. The thought of AI for me is my car telling me that I need a servicing, and he checks it. My car checks on my schedule and books an appointment with the service center on its own. I get up every day in the morning, look at my mirror, and my mirror looks at me and thinks that this guy has grown fat. Okay. And then my mirror tells my automated kitchen that this is the diet plan that this guy should follow. Right, that's what the AI means for me. Something which brings me joy, something which takes care of my work for me, and something which makes my life a little more easier, something which I don't have to think about. I think I like the viewpoint of Kelsey that yes, the way it's working out, some section might feel a little more sideline but I don't know. I have a different viewpoint. I believe code doesn't look at the color of the people. Code is just going to work, same for everybody. And that to me is, in a way, getting everybody together. That for me is giving a feeling to everybody that irrespective of who I am, if I can afford this and if I'm going to buy this, it's going to work the same for me. It's going to love me the same, right? So I'm pretty excited about AI, and I think the trend that I have seen in India is that people are looking forward for this. They are open to adapt to it. There could be a negative side to it, but I think everything has it, right? You go onto the road, you drive a car, it gives you comfort, but then you can have accidents as well. So it depends upon you, how do you use it. But I am pretty excited about AI and machine learning.
Cool.
Yeah. Just to add that, I agree with Shrikant. The only challenge or biggest problem I'm seeing with AI is there is no security of data right now. So even whatever you speak, whatever your camera is seeing, whatever you are typing, everything is available on cloud for different people where you have no control, right? And I'll give you one example that happened to me. So I was talking to my colleague. I was asking, how can I get government ID proof for my kid? Next day evening, I'm seeing an email in my inbox saying that this is the place from where you can get government ID for your kid. And this is the cost for it. So it was an advertisement. Now understand the speech that I'm using for my personal conversation is being recorded. That's what I felt. And it's going to grow crazy in near future. No data, even where are you walking, that GPS is controlling all the information, what you are speaking is being controlled. All the data is available for different people. So that's my biggest worry with AI. Otherwise, if we use it smart and if we definitely provide security through data, it's the best thing that we can bring to humanity.
But Parag, what I feel for AI, that means that if you're talking on a phone and the AI would come to a point wherein the AI would figure out that okay, somebody's sniffing, and the AI should encrypt that call itself. And if your phone is also AI enabled, they'll filter out that okay, this is an ad. Parag doesn't like these ads. Let's not show these ads on the message. I think it that way. Your point is very valid, actually, but I kind of think it the other way. What do you say, Tushar?
Well, I think there are pros and cons to this AI altogether. But yeah, I mean, see, based on the ads point, what you told, right? So it's not we who are actually showing ads to the user; it's the companies who are giving the ads. So it's like you cannot control whether you want to see that ad or not. Ads are meant to be shown, so they'll come up anyways. So yeah, I mean, let's see. Let's wait for the exciting future. Yeah.
What do you think, Robert? Do you have a point of view on this?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Well, first of all, I don't think that everybody listens to us, right? I have a friend who worked for one of the large companies. I don't want to go into name names on this, right? One of the large ones. He actually worked for two of the big search companies, one of the older ones and then one of the newer ones. And now he works for a music company. In any case, he's a data scientist. I mean, really deep data scientist, sort of brainiac, rocket scientist kind of style. And I remember when we talked about this, he would continuously tell me how at his previous company, he could do so much more with the data than he could do at his new company because there were all these privacy rules that hindered him from giving good results to people. And I thought it was an interesting conversation that reminded me of, I got reminded of lately, right? That I believe that there are rules around it and that companies follow certain rules, right? And I don't really know that we have this figured out. I think it's a very personal issue, right? I really have a strong belief that people have their own limits and boundaries on this. And I think it's all about really honoring those, right? What my boundaries are might be very different what other people's boundaries are. This is true for security. This is true for privacy. And I really want people to be empowered to choose their boundaries on this. And I think we're learning on this and we have a path to go. And yeah, I love that there's going to be predictions that come for me. So I'm excited about this, and I think that our lives are gonna get much better with this, and yet we're still gonna watch out what happens with privacy. So I don't know. I'm not trying to be political here. I'm really thinking that what applies to me, I don't always find that I'm kind of out there. I try stuff. I'm a pioneer, right? And so therefore, I have to watch out how much of my pioneerdom, my sort of interest and curiosity in new things, how that applies for others. And I think that's the risk that we run into, right? We all of us here really are excited about tech and so forth. So how does that apply? We only have a few more minutes left. So Nick, I'm just going to let you actually talk about anything you want. You haven't had a chance to say anything. Give us a 1-minute thing. What has come up for you in the last 20 minutes? What do you think?
So about this AI thing, I think AI should be, this AI algorithms and machine learning algorithms should be made as public as possible. So the power, like AI superpower, will not be concentrated in a single company or a single nation. So it can be used to hurt others or in bad purpose. If it's public, like there will be equality to all the people, and people can use it for their own good purpose. And you need not be afraid of the AI power.
Everybody can hurt everybody.
Not like that. They can protect, defend themselves like that.
That's an awesome idea to make algorithms public and really sort of put in the public domain. A really great food of thought to close it out. Kelsey, I want to close with asking you a question. How was this to be your co-host with me? Are you enjoying this? What's going on?
Absolutely. I mean, this is, I think, community building, and it actually, Nick, it goes right to your point. The more public we can get these ideas out there, get these thoughts out there, the more we can share and build in the community. It helps with the points that we brought up today that I think are the risks, right? So we brought up having lack of diversity in folks and having forums like this and making it open to the public, I think starts to address some of those and take some of the fear out of it. So absolutely thrilled to have been here for the first. I'll always remember you four as my first guests in the co-host. So thank you so much for your contributions tonight, and really looking forward to the rest of the journey on Mr. IoT.
Awesome, thank you. I gotta have to close by repeating what Shrikant said, and I don't know, it's sort of stuck in my head. You said code doesn't see color. I don't know, that was just awesome. I almost want to say code doesn't see color or gender for that matter. Thank you for that quote. Thank you guys for joining me. I know it's getting late where you are, and I'm excited to see you next week. And with that, come to the end. Please join us again next week, Friday at, actually next week we don't have a show because I'm flying, but in 2 weeks, Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, for another coffee with Miss Connected and Mr. IoT. We're gonna change the name. And by the way, if you missed any part of today's conversation, come back, look at our YouTube channel where you can see old shows and today's shows. And with that, have a great Friday, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.